I'm Tommy.
I'm Nick.
I am Tarar.
Alrighty, and today we are continuing our My Hero. I know it's been a couple episodes since we've talked about it. Today we are actually going to be doing our second section of it, because we're going to probably do about 3 per anime.
Yes,
First,
sir.
a brief overview of history and just what it's about. Second's going to be about power that are in there.
Powers, weapons, tools.
And then third's probably going to be miscellaneous.
Yep.
Just some other stuff. So today we're going to be mainly talking about quirks from My Hero, which is basically the superpowers, their meta powers that give them their unique abilities in My Hero.
Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum.
Ba-dum-bum.
So, we're going to go through, pretty much just go A through D.
Yeah,
I'm just going to pick a couple. Well, I'm going to read them off, and then we're going to discuss about them.
we may skip some depending on what the quirk is. We're basically just going to, like Tommy said, we're going to discuss some possible uses, whether or not it'd be good for a hero quirk or villain quirk, good for a hero or more suited for maybe like a villain, because there are no villainous quirks. They're just used by villains.
Right.
So
Some villains have good intention. They are villains.
I'd call those more like vigilantes or anti-heroes, like
Hero
Deadpool.
killer Stain. I don't know if I put him as
He was
villain.
originally a vigilante that
Turn villain, right?
turned villain.
Okay.
His original concept was very thought out, very good philosophy. It just the execution of it wasn't all for very well. He didn't really think about the proper execution of it.
Right.
So
You thought killing all the lower level ones was gonna do something.
no, it was killing in general.
Okay. So I feel like if he was
If he felt that the system was
bro,
broke, instead of trying to be an outsider trying to fix it, he should have been an insider trying
trying
to
to fix it.
fix it by showing like, I'm a hero. I'm not here for endorsements. I'm not really for a limelight.
Right.
I'm just here to
Money,
save
yeah.
the people.
Okay. Yeah, he was one of the
Yeah.
scary ones. Like,
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know we got off track already. Go ahead.
well,
Tommy.
speaking of quirks, his quirk is blood control.
No, blood paralysis.
Blood paralysis.
I think is what it's called.
Okay.
All right. I'm lost. Who are we talking about?
Stain.
Hero
Oh,
killer Stain.
yeah.
So the type of blood type you have.
Determines how
Determines
long
the
you're paralyzed.
Yeah, the length. Basically, it was his main weapons were swords, knives, blades, in general.
Serrated blades.
Well, any sort of blade, it's just serrated, are more likely to cause bleeding.
Okay, bleeding blades. That sounds raw.
Did you say what his quirk's name was?
I think it was like blood paralysis,
Blood curdle.
blood curdle.
Curdle. Okay, I knew it was something like that.
Basically, what it is when he ingests blood of an individual, he is able to paralyze them. And depending on, like Tarot said, the blood type determines the length of paralysis.
Yep.
So, and because of that, when he would attack heroes, attack in general, he had to finish them off quickly because he didn't know what blood type they were. What was it? AB, I think it was the shortest blood type.
Something like that. Whatever Deku is.
Yeah, it was like AB, then O. 'Cause I think Todoroki was O. Because he
I don't
didn't,
know.
he
I
didn't
don't think.
expect.
Oh, I think O probably is the shortest because it's the universal
yeah,
blood type.
O. I think O was the shortest one. Because
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Midoriya was still down, but I think Todoroki is the one who realized.
Well, I think Todoroki can actually use his quirks without movement.
oh, so that's
I could be wrong about that. So we'd have to look into that a little.
that was a good fight. I
So
will say. My correct.
the second quirk we're gonna go over is one of the first quirks we see in the anime. I'm assuming the manga too. Gonna be called Arbor. It is used by the hero Kamui Woods.
Okay, yeah. So basically, what his quirk allows him to do is create trees.
Branches?
Allows the user to generate and control wood from any part of their body.
Okay, well, with that, wouldn't that mean he's
So he's basically a tree man.
true? But wouldn't that mean he'd be able to create any type of wood?
hope so.
Well, whatever wood he uses, probably.
Oh, so
It's
like
just
a wood
named
based on
Arbor,
his body.
so I don't know if it's actually Arbor wood.
No, I'm saying is
Arbor is wood.
is he able
It
to
says,
create
like-
different types of wood, or is he limited to one type? Like, could he create an oak, which is a really sturdy and hard wood, compared to
Maple. Maple's kind of sturdy. Maple's kind of sturdy. Ash.
That'd be interesting.
Ash, or even Birch.
Oh, Birch. Yeah, Birch kind of. He probably
This
just
quirk
control.
is similar to the quirk vines, as both involve the manipulation of specific plant matter,
So
which is noted by several characters, including Kamui Woods himself. So it's probably the only wood he can is the one he uses. So that's probably whatever the dark wood he has,
well,
which is probably
He
actually
probably
arbor.
just used the wood from that's generated by his body.
Yeah.
not just
well,
outside wood.
yeah. So, but that's the thing though is, did he ever think to think outside the box instead of, oh, I created this wood the first time I use it. This is the only wood I can use. Because you got to think about it.
That's one of my main things about anime is I feel like any power, if you try to utilize it the best way, can become an OP power.
It can, but the thing is, the main issue with that is,
Bakugo can become a nuke if you wanted to.
you technically yes you can.
Technically,
Yeah,
yes.
you know what I'm saying?
But I wonder if you can make the wood and then break it off without damage to his body. Well, I think you can because I think we've seen that.
Yeah,
happen.
because he uses it as a entrapment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
use it to.
But we never see him like let go of the trap after. Like he traps him and then that's the end of his scenes.
He says both cases involve him wrapping his wooden tendrils around their bodies against villains. The quirk is used to bind them in places, preventing them from acting.
Okay.
While waiting for rescue victims is a useful method, carrying them to safety, especially if there are multiple casualties.
So yeah.
He didn't care about 20 people.
He is frequently employs arbor for evasion and locomotion, using his elongated tendrils to hold onto tall structures like buildings, which allows him to pretty much be Spider-Man.
Yeah, so he, from the way it sounds like though, and from what we've seen in the series, I think he's a little bit more of a rescue with a fighting hero
Right.
and everything.
Because it was said when
So, yeah.
that first episode when they couldn't beat that sludge monster that he was not well equipped, that they weren't well equipped to fight certain monsters.
Well, that's just it though. Is that has always bugged me. So what we're talking about is in the first episode, Bakugo gets captured by a sludge villain.
Which, if you watched our first episode on My Hero, I have a kind of pretty good animation of the pictures for that. So
Yes.
you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I like that one.
Kami Wood, Mount Lady, and like two more. I think it was Backdraft and Gunhead or something like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Gunhead. It
Dude
was
with the
Death Arms.
Death
death
Arms.
arms, yeah.
And they were discussing that none of them have the proper quirk for the situation, which bugged me because you shouldn't have a proper quirk outside of certain extremely specific situations. You shouldn't have to worry about a certain type of quirk.
Right.
Well, I think it was maybe because they literally couldn't do anything to the villain. They couldn't touch
Yeah,
him.
his woods
or-
one did nothing. Himself
Well, the thing
didn't
is
do
though,
nothing.
but that's just my point.
I
that
might
means
just
they're
use
not-
brute strength.
Yeah, but
So it's like-
well, even before that, when Deku attacked him, he hit his eyes.
Which was that's the only
Which was a
weak point.
powerless
And the-
quirkless person.
Yeah, but the thing is, we have a 15-year-old boy who has not been not trained at all,
He just going off instinct
and
and now
he shows them that there is a point that you can hit him. Why isn't what is it, 4 or 5?
it's like 7
Pro
heroes. I remember
heroes.
the,
Yeah, 4 or
the one
5
with
pro
the
heroes.
power hoses.
Some who have been in the thing for years
We're not equipped to do this. We need a
realize
different hero.
we can't do anything.
Okay. I would have punched him in the eyes just like he did. You got wood, you better stick him in the eyes or something.
So, but yeah.
So
Well,
At least
That's gonna
pull,
go-
at least pull Bakugo out, you know?
But
Try to
if he
get him
can-
away from the
If
situation.
he can make manipulate wood, then maybe he could just build houses like
the first Tokage you're talking about?
well, yeah. But I was thinking of what's his name?
Like Yamato.
Yamato.
Yeah,
the
he ain't
one
no
we
first
see actually do
Hokage.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're off topic. Let's go back to
Go back to
My Hero. We'll talk about Naruto
Yeah.
at a later date.
That's a little bit of our arbors. So our next one,
Everyone
we're going to go
knows
with
Naruto. I hope.
All for One. Because it is a main quirk in the anime.
All for one, yes.
So
So
all for one,
that it.
because I had a question for you guys. So, because I always thought all for one. Y'all ever watch that movie? That show called Superheroes when he took. Oh, what was it called? Oh, my bad, getting off
Three
topic, but it was
Musketeers.
no, it was
All
a,
for
it
one,
was
yeah.
a,
One for
the
all.
live action one with Heroes with the one dude who steals everything.
yes, and that one dude, he was going around killing all their powers, and the only one that could stop him was the brother who didn't understand that every time he touched you, he took your powers, because he took his brother power of flying when he almost fell off the building. I'm gonna look at next week. I'm gonna say that Heroes. I think that was
Yeah, it was Heroes.
Is that initially the same power?
I think so. So basically, what One for All is I'm not too sure.
It's
The
a
full,
stockpile quirk.
Well, no,
It's a
Because he can
stock-
take powers and give
It's
powers
a
out, right?
well, no. So you can take a power.
Like, say you don't want powers, but you do want powers. I could take your power from you and give it to
well,
you.
the
right?
thing
So, all
is,
for one.
they say it. I think they said it evolved because the basic of it was just like a copy quirk.
Oh, so he just copy everybody.
He would be able to copy, and it was later on that he received. I think he copied a quirk that was like a transference. And with that, with his quirk, then he now
Was able to take quirks
take and
and give.
or just keep.
Cause ain't that what they did with the new moves?
Yeah,
Didn't they use all one for all to
They used
use his quirk?
I
to
think they
make
used
the
a
new-
transfer, a transfers quirk.
So, All for One allows the user to steal quirks from anyone they touch for personal use or transfer the stolen quirks to anyone. The process of giving and taking away quirks is done through touch.
Okay, yeah.
Through a hole in the palm of the user's hand once it receives contact.
So, and that is the main quirk of our main villain.
Oh, yes. Before it was transferred to his successor, so All for One is the name of the villain, or Tomura Shigaraki is his actual name. He transferred it to the new Tomura Shigaraki and kept a weaker version of his quirk called Duplicate, which is just you could duplicate the quirk you touch of somebody else's.
Like when he was stockpiling against one for All Might.
So I want to say,
He does.
it sounds like Duplicate was probably, I'm going to say the original version of One for, or All for One.
is what they use in the
But,
stages when they was making no moves and all that.
It could be possibility.
Because you know,
Because they're way too similar.
in the new episode, you see.
Well,
they
you can't.
duplicated-
He doesn't steal the quirk. Duplicate literally just duplicate.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So you,
Originally, I
basically,
think it
it's
was like a
what's
duplicate.
his name's kid in the anime itself, who can take other people's quirks by touching them
Oh,
and use them,
yeah, okay.
but only use 2 or 3 of them at a time.
Which that's it, right? But he could not take one for all, right? Because there's too many quirks.
I believe he cannot.
No, I think he
8 quirks.
I think
He said he couldn't.
he might be able to differentiate and only take a certain one. Because if he only thinks Deku has super strength, he may only be able to take Stockpile. But if he takes Stockpile and tries to use it, his body has not been conditioned for it, and he would destroy himself.
Yeah.
Now, that always bothered me, right? Because Deku had no quirks, so he has not conditions for it. But other people who have quirks have conditioned them bodies to be conditioned.
No.
for it.
They said that the reason the Mideku and that he has to be the last user of All For One, because one, there's a little chance that another person will be born quirkless, completely quirkless, and two, to add another quirk onto that, they said it will make them explode. So that's why
Yeah, the singularity.
That's
The
why,
singularity
in,
process.
in that little sad movie, I'm not sure if it was canon or not, when he gave it to Bakugo,
They came back out and
just-
classified it as non-canon.
Non-canon.
There has been fans who have come out and said, or have tried to make it canon because of certain aspects of the movie.
like the end with Shigaraki, like the whole thing, like the quirk went back to Midoriya because it would have killed Bakugo.
Well, the thing is, what people are stating is that they what they did was they used blood. They're saying blood isn't a very good transfer, but they never stated that it had to be
It had to
hair,
be
Just
DNA,
DNA, right?
just DNA.
But they also then say that it wasn't a full transference.
Yeah, it was.
Just in the moment.
So, the thing is, One for All.
Because when he had to wait to get the full power, one for all, remember when he ate the
Well, so-
hair? He had to wait.
Well, that was just Deku.
One for All is another version of the quirks. You got All for One, you got One for All.
Well, One for All-
One takes away, and One for
One
All.
for all
gives.
is his own quirk.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it is. But I know we're going off tangent, but I'm trying to answer. So what they said was that One for All is sentient, like Dark Shadow.
Right.
And they are stating that, well, even though the main user, because outside of, I think
The first user.
out of All Might to Deku, each past user has passed it on their deathbed.
Right. Correct.
So there was no chance of it being denied. It was passed easily.
Right.
But
Sam's choice. Right.
when
He was the.
nah, and everything.
That the quirk had its own free will.
Yeah, free will. So it's basically stating that even though the current user is willingly passing it on, they're saying, well, it's got remnants of all the past users. They're denying it. Oh, and even if they didn't deny it, All Might can't. His remnant isn't fully there, so he can't properly accept or deny it. So because of that, it had to be like a unanimous thing. It was denied. So he just got a temporary boost in power.
Thank you.
Bakugo. And a lot of people were also saying that it was not cool, not fair, that censored bullshit that Deku had to train to be able to use it to that point in that movie, where Bakugo was using it right out the gate.
Yes and no.
See, that's
Because
that's why I
Bakugo been
think it
training
goes
all his
because
life.
Bakugo has been training his life
Right.
because he's super in depth in using his quirk already. If he just got a boost in the power, he
It would
wouldn't
still
have to
destroy
learn.
him.
Yeah.
But
Singularity.
you know,
Well,
it's
not
kind of
not
like
that, but so they even stated that when the quirk, when One for All is added to someone with a quirk like the seventh, with her float, it became flight. It got an increase in it. Even with Black Whip, it was increased. And for Bakugo, he already has bracers on his arms to help with the strain from his explosions. You add One for All on top of that, those bracers aren't situated for that much power. Those bracers wouldn't do anything. They would destroy his wrists, destroy his arms, and everything.
As we were saying.
And we're back.
And we're back. And I'm sorry, that was a tangent we got off on. Let's continue with our.
The next quirk I'm gonna go with is actually from Deku's mother. It is called Attraction of Small Objects. Yes, that's the whole title. That is what it is.
Yes.
Basically, it lets her use like a telekinesis-like power to attract small objects to herself.
Yes, so she actually has a limit on how big of an object. More often
But I think if she would have gone and trained, I bet she could have increased that limit.
no, I don't think she could have.
It's
So-
the certain you once you watch
So-
My Hero Academia, you see a certain limitations to certain people's powers.
Yes. So one thing is I don't think she could increase how much weight she can do. But you gotta stop and think. Her quirk, if she had trained it to use it properly, she could mess with atoms.
True. So it goes, the exact size limit of what Inko and the attraction he used is not known, but she's able to pull an action figure to herself, albeit with multiple hand movements, hinting at a gravity aspect of her quirk rather than instant telekinesis.
Yes. Another thing is that people have stated that if she ever went to villainy, she would be quite deadly. Due to the fact of she could easily pull things like a person's heart right out of their chest, or rip out their eyes.
Ooh. Okay,
It's small
you're
objects.
making the mom figure of the whole anime sound like a complete serial killer kind of
I'm
thing.
saying
No,
if she went to villainy,
Oh,
but we've shown her she is like her son. She is a cinnamon.
Even as a
She-
hero,
yeah.
even as a hero, you got to kill the enemy. That's still a good
not
way to go.
necessarily. Alright,
What is going on?
and we're back.
Sorry, we were having some technical difficulties with one of the mics. So we're back. We were talking about Inko Midoriya's attraction of small things.
Yes, we were.
So we will be actually moving on now because I don't think we have much more we can talk about her.
Unless you want to make her a serial killer again.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just saying.
He has a good point though.
So we are going to go
Small,
to bees
yeah,
now,
small.
and we see what I got here. Ooh, what do you think?
I'm gonna throw out
Well, we
one that
fired
I
out
like.
Blood Curdle.
We did Blood Curdle, which is the name of it. Get right there. Let's go. Ooh, let's go with brainwashing.
Oh, Pearl Hair Boys. I can't remember his name.
His name is
Shinoe?
Shino.
Shino?
Shino.
Shino. Okay. So his is actually would be very good for a. I hate to say, well, he'll make a good hero. I think he'd be better as a police officer, especially a negotiator.
Yes, that would be amazing. The only thing is, everyone thinks he would be a good villain, which unfortunately it would be too good.
His quirk does classify as what people would call a villainous quirk, just because of the aspect of being able to brainwash people.
Be like, Mom, I want chicken nuggets. No, you're not. You got stuff in the kitchen.
No,
Why are we at McDonald's?
Tommy, you have to remember, the minute they answer him,
Question.
they fall.
Controls.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So if you want a chicken nuggets, as soon as his,
Can I get chicken nuggets? No. Boom.
Boom.
We getting chicken nuggets.
I'm
exactly,
at McDonald's already paying. What the hell just happened?
pretty much.
Well, technically speaking, you still fully conscious the whole time. You just
No.
control.
Well, you are fully conscious, but you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. The
I
only
mean,
reason,
Midoriya,
the only reason,
Midoriya, he inside his head is like, what's
you don't
going
know
on?
why you came with your body, but
Yeah.
you still in control of your, well, at least your brain part, at least.
thought process.
Yeah, thought processing. You be like, fuck, I don't want to go to McDonald's, but the whole way there, you just wondering why you going to McDonald's.
Tommy, what did you just look up?
I'm not. We're not using that quirk. All right.
Just say it.
All right. The next quirk we're going to use is a color. It's black. That's the quirk name, black. Basically, the quirk used by Shihai Karori.
Isn't he in class 1B?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
And isn't it where he can travel through anything?
Black allows the user to merge their body into anything that is dark colored, whether naturally dark or dark via external circumstances such as shadows. They can also move themselves throughout darkness freely.
He'd actually be a good partner for Tetsuyomi.
Tetsuyomi, yeah.
For
With Dark Shadow.
Mhm.
which if you see him use Dark Shadow, but he controls Dark Shadow.
I was finna say, that would
In
be
one of the
doing right,
episodes.
like exactly, like, oh, let me go into
This
that
ability, though, does not take mass into account, so merging with small or thin dark objects, such as a mushroom or a cape, is entirely possible.
Oh,
So basically,
you can merge anything.
I got a pin-shaped shadow. I am now fully in that shadow,
So I can be a builder.
or I could be a building shadow.
That was actually really interesting.
So is it like, I wonder if he
And you
use
can
it
also
like
naturally force or mobile objects to force to move if the user assimilates into them, such as dark shadow, dark color living appendages.
anything dark.
Yes.
Alrighty then. That's an interesting one. So why don't we move to C?
C. Alrighty. What do we got for C? For C. That's E.
I'll say this right now, guys. If you're hearing anything in the background, it is a little windy, so that might be leaves, or you might be hearing the school football game that's going on in the background too.
Yeah, you. So, let's go with. Do I wanna?
Do it.
Alright. I don't know who this guy's at, but apparently he's from the Vigilante series. His name and his quirk name is Chest Hair.
Oh.
I remember.
So for those of the hang on, Tommy. So those who don't know, Vigilante is a side comic that is in the My Hero universe, following a different character. And I've heard rumors of them going to be to animate it. I can't remember if it's a actual side story of happening at the same time as Midoriya, or if it's a prequel.
I think it's like a prequel. The way,
That'd be interesting.
when I read a little bit of it, the way it's based, it's probably like a side prequel. You know how they are like, it's like afterwards, but it's like going side by side with what's going on right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
So, not much known about him, but due to the nature of his quirk, it presumably enhances him as masculine traits.
He basically
I'm
become
so
more
manly.
Yeah, so like
So don't let him.
it's like Fire Force. If you ever watch Fire Force and you know Arthur, like when he feels like he's a knight, he gets stronger. So when he feels more manly,
That might be
he
in
gets
that. Yeah, there you
stronger.
go.
Let's not ever introduce him to Red Riot and what is it? Real Steel. I think
Real
it's.
Steel. Which are the next ones that we can say?
Ooh,
Because we own them.
that
right now.
is.
Is that just hardening? I know.
Jumped all the way up to 8 in real quick. So, hardening is Kaminari's quirk.
Quirk.
Basically, he can turn his entire body into
The thing.
hard objects.
Into
Well, not objects. His entire body turns solid,
like stone.
like stone.
Like
kind
the
of.
thing.
So
And
Fantastic
then
Four.
he is going to be a really good
Hero.
support actually hero.
Yes.
Yep. Hardening gives the user power to harden any part of their body. The quirk protects them from most physical threats. Once activated, he becomes capable of enduring what would be otherwise lethal hazards like tons of falling metal and multiple explosions without leaving a scratch. Even bullets are unable to pierce his skin.
Yes.
Now, his rival, we would say, is a guy named Tetsu.
Yes.
Tetsu.
Who has
His,
the
his whole name
property-
is Tetsu.
Test.
Unfortunately,
Properties
his
of
quirk
metal.
is steel.
Steel.
Which
Now-
allows him to turn his body into steel. However, while Kaminari's hardening depends on his endurance, steel
Steel.
depends on the amount of iron in his Tetsu's blood system.
Now, hardening is actually the stronger of the two quirks because Kaminari can harden his body way harder than steel. Steel can only harden to the strengths of steel.
Steel.
I mean, steel's hard, but
But
you
Kaminari-
can.
Like, I think it's been theorized Kaminari can harden his body to the point of diamond.
Yes.
which would
I was
be
gonna say yes.
awesome.
Which is basically
Technically, that would be fairly accurate because
Diamond
he's carbon. See, the carbon life form, and he's just hardening all his carbon atoms to be hard.
And we've even
So-
seen part of it in his
Berserk.
no,
No.
in his
Riot Man. Is it Riot Man? Or is it
it's Red Riot.
Red Riot.
I'm
His
saying when
quirk,
the move.
Unbreakable.
is Unbreakable.
Yeah, it's an ultimate move called Unbreakable, basically turning himself. He hardens while hardened, so he hardened himself even further.
you got Red Counter, you got Red Riot's Unbreakable, which reaches to his maximum hardening level by turning his entire body extremely hard and rugged, leaving him with a monstrous appearance and practically invulnerable to most forms of attack. But
That's majority.
But it
he
decreases.
cannot run.
Yeah.
He barely walk at that
It's like
problem.
slowing the speed.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that
Well,
if they
ultimate
do,
defense.
they need to work on with him is have him harden.
And
I
be
wonder-
able to move.
So I
move at a higher
would
speed.
compare his quirk to the attack, not the attack titan, the hard titan.
I think him as thing.
Well, the Rock Titan from
Yeah, I know which one you're
from
talking
Attack
about.
on Titan. He can harden his entire body too, but he only hardens everything else except for like his leg, behind his
calf?
knees,
Yeah.
armpits, legs, like so he can move.
Well, he can
His joints
move his
do not get
joints.
hardened.
Yeah.
Well, it's already been proven that Kaminari, thank you, can harden certain aspects of his body. So if he would want to do that, of like
Rod's being naughty.
we're just going to go past that. So if he actually wants to do his Unbreakable on his arms, and then
Yeah,
or his arms and his chest, and leave his
if he
Move
can, he
and
can
just
get.
box.
Since he can do certain parts of his body, he can harden everything but the joints and still be able to move
Freely.
freely. Unless it makes him heavier, which I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
Even
but-
then, that all he's got to do is work in his base form with his speed and his ability to.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, at that point, he's still just human, so he can only go as fast as he can go.
Right.
But
Well, actually, while they are human, they've already stated that people with quirks
are more streamlined.
aren't not only that, but they exceed what would be classified as superhuman by our standards.
Ooh.
So in that world, you would have a quirkless person and somebody with a quirk.
Their genetics is just made different.
So not only that, it's the quirk person is more durable, faster, and stronger because their bodies are designed to handle a ability.
Which they state in the show, which
Yes.
is why it was so hard for Midoriya to get One for All, and why he breaks himself in the beginning stages.
Yeah.
Well, part of that though is, and I know we're going off on another tangent here. Part of that is because Midoriya wasn't using it properly.
Right.
He was thinking that he has to force all of it into a certain part of himself instead of realizing
equally
just
yeah.
letting it flow throughout.
Hockey.
And his concept of using,
It was very broken in the beginning.
yeah, not only that, but if he would actually stop and break down his quirk like he does everyone else's, he would have realized that so much sooner, but he doesn't because he still views it up until almost the end of season 2 into season 3
Yeah,
as
see-
All Might's quirk, not his.
Yep.
That's when he started using kicks instead of punches.
Yep. Shoot style.
Yep. All right, Tommy. What's the next one?
We're just gonna go with Uraraka's gravity.
Okay.
What do you think her gravity could turn into?
Actually, there's already been theories that she doesn't control gravity.
She controls the.
No, it's called. It's not
So
called
her-
gravity. It's
her-
called zero G.
Zero G.
Yeah, she
And the-
controls.
The
And the thing-
absence of gravity.
And the thing is, if you would remove gravity from an object on Earth, it wouldn't float like hers do. It would shoot off.
Right.
Be gone.
She just controls.
Is that true though? Because we can take like a vacuum chamber, remove that just remove air, doesn't it? Does
Yeah.
it remove oxygen as well, or
But
gravity?
it gets close to it as
But
No, it
say
just,
you're in 0 G, like in the airplanes when they're coming down, and you're weightless. You're not shooting up. You're just floating.
well, that's not true.
Well, it's
You
not
have to stop and
different with
think.
us.
You're still moving. That's the thing is, you're still moving with the force of the Earth.
So it's like
But from my understanding of what hers is the object is still in place when she removes the gravity. It's no longer following the gravitational pull of Earth. So if that's the case,
it's following her gravitational pull, and she controls it, right?
no.
That's what she. That's what she said.
And people don't think that's right because of the way.
Also, do you think the writer just said that to throw us
Well,
off?
that not only that.
He said that in the show.
Well, it
All
could
My
be
One
that.
says that quirks change because you don't think it's not what they think it is. It
Yes.
becomes something else.
And that's just
Okay.
it. When it was originally done, the creator may not have known all the small aspects like a physicist who watches the show would understand.
Okay.
And he goes with it. Well, it's 0 G. It just and people are stating, well, it doesn't seem like it's that anymore. It's more like this,
Right.
where
I feel like
she
can
creates,
control the
she can control
pool.
the buoyancy of things
Oh, okay.
instead of actually being 0 G. But again, that's what people are who are looking at it who have degrees in like physics. They're not. And instead, the creator said it was 0 G. That's what it is. If they change it, they change it. If not,
Amateur.
yeah.
So we got our next one is going to be Kaminari.
He did.
Electrification. Now, he is a human phone charger.
Tommy, that's not fair. He's actually a human electric eel. Let's get it
No,
straight.
the electric eel is a quirk. So no, he is not.
No. So what his quirk is he can produce voltage.
Well,
He can
electrification
produce
gives the user
and
ability to charge in electricity
release.
and emit it out their body all sorts of protective aura that electrocutes anyone through contact.
You see it in a new episode where they say charge and release.
Yeah.
Basically just like
Well, the thing is, in the earlier episodes, it shows, and I think this is one thing that the writers, that the producers, whoever, can go back and help him out with is when he releases a certain amount of voltage, it's sort of
mushrooms. Like marshmallow.
no, it basically
Fries.
fries his brain. Basically, it is. But
He
what
becomes really stupid.
But what it is, it's more along the lines of in a house when too much electricity goes through something, your breaker switch
Right.
pops, and that's basically what it is. It's a natural breaker switch that pops for him,
So if he can control that,
or if they get a supports item for him that controls that.
But
where-
then,
Is
if
that
that's,
what's on
if that's
his
how you
balance?
going to look at it, that would mean his spinal column is a breaker switch, and then you would have to literally plug into that breaker switch to be able to use more electricity without frying his brain.
well, not so much that, it's if they can create an external device for him that helps him with
what's that thing on his hand that he used?
So let's see.
that actually lets him fire his voltage.
Fire it out. Okay.
And
that's the relief
directional
part.
yeah,
Okay.
and a directional, and you see it in the license exams
Okay. Yeah.
that he uses something from the support department that
disc?
yeah, the discs that actually let him control and
Shoot it.
maneuver his electricity instead of just releasing a giant burst.
Yeah. You're right.
And his name in the anime is Denki or Charge Bolt, and he uses like he's basically the stun gun hero.
Yeah. So most of the heroes, because Tommy had just said it, actually have a title that goes with their hero name. Like one of the first ones you hear is Froppy, the was it rain season hero?
Rainy hero, something like that.
Yeah.
Rainy season, yeah, I think I remember right. And it's like it goes the Death Arms, the strong, the construction hero or something like that.
No, that is
That's the one that the bulldozer dude.
yeah, that is the support hero.
Or you got the guy with the water hoses. He's the water hose hero because he's the fire and rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we got say I don't know what Bakugo's gonna be.
I've heard people
It'd be like another endeavor to me.
Well, the thing is, it depends on how they once they finally choose his name,
Yeah.
because
Lord
you have-
Explosion Murder.
yeah, because I think a good name for him would be, and because he wants to be the number one hero, right?
Detonation.
No, Dynamite,
High Impact.
Yeah.
Ground Zero.
I like Ground Zero. I think Ground Zero would be great. So, but our next one's going to be Earphone Jack.
Tommy, is your mic on? Because it doesn't sound like.
It is on, yeah.
Okay, it sounds like you're extremely low.
Earphone Jack is our next one. That's because I'm over here.
Well, it still sounds like I'm only hearing you from my mic. I'm sorry, guys. Well,
Yeah,
But-
well.
yeah.
So
Anyway,
Earphone Jack is the next one. And her name is Kyoka Jiro. And what Earphone Jack does is grants its user long control of your earlobes that work like headphone cables.
auxiliary cables.
Pretty much. Kyoka's earlobes are shaped like jacks at the end, allowing her to plug into a variety of objects. Those earlobes can further channel the vibration of Kyoka's own heartbeats, dealing internal damage to said objects. So she's got these speakers on her boots. She can plug her ear into her boots and sonic booms from her heartbeats out.
Yeah. So she'd actually be a really good search and rescue and a support hero.
Yes, which is what she's been showing doing.
Yeah.
She
Because
can
with
plug
her,
in her jack into the wall of any surface.
She's a
She can
very
sharpen them
good
and strengthen.
superhero that can fight.
yes.
That's one thing we will note. That
Yeah.
some superheroes are just support,
Yeah.
but she's very
Well,
great.
support is more like backup. You're thinking more the rescue.
Rescue. Okay, I'm thinking more rescue. Yeah. So she's very much.
Because you have certain rescue heroes like 13 with their quirk black hole
Right.
that aren't really a fighter, but their quirk is extremely dangerous, so they just have stuff with search and rescue
Right.
where they can remove debris very easily.
Right. Yeah, so
I don't know. Let's see.
Well,
we
if we're
got
not going down lists. We already did one for all. We got all my from
All right, I got one.
villains. Who's
Ooh.
Officer who's
Villains.
So are we talking straight up villains?
So we're gonna go.
Or are we
Villain
going to talk?
association first? So we're gonna go Tomaru and them.
Oh, I was just saying.
What's her name? Toga.
Toga with her.
Toga.
So her quirk is actually very interesting, and people have theorized, and I think they've even mentioned it a little in the manga.
The blood transformation.
Something like that is that her parents basically had denied her the proper usage of her quirk because they wanted to view her as normal. and it caused a like a psychosis because she's denying an instinct. Because one main thing that her quirk requires is the drinking of blood.
There's a couple different blood burgers or vampiric quirks.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing that I was going to mention. That thank you, Tommy, for reminding me. Is that anytime that somebody has a blood-like quirk, and the main three we have seen have been Vlad King, Toga, and Stain. Each of them have very similar to vampiric in nature
Speaking of Black
tendencies.
King, so ain't his power like just blood manipulation?
No, he controls his own blood to heart.
Blood control, isn't it?
Blood control.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Blood
But I think he can only use his own.
His
I
own
think
blood,
he can-
so he can't use
he
no
can-
one else's blood. Like, say I'm fighting you and you start bleeding, can I just pull your blood?
So yeah, Blood
No.
King uses blood control. Blood control allows the user to manipulate their own blood after it has left their body.
So
Once
it's,
the blood is out in the open air, the user can freely control its flow and movements as well as harden it into immobilized foes.
so with something like that, then
Do you
he
think
would.
he's a masochist then?
I don't think so. But he would have to continuously go and have his blood drawn.
Yeah,
And that's what the needles on his suit is for.
that's what I was gonna say. Is that why
Because-
the whole?
Well, not only that, I mean, if he can control his blood once it leaves his body, as long as they keep it in proper refrigeration, and if he's not on duty, he can continuously give out blood as much as he can each day.
Yeah, it says here that blood control also appears to allow the user to go unaffected by levels of blood loss that would normally be fatal.
So yeah,
That's your power.
that means he can technically have a.
Drain himself.
He uses special gloves which are connected to tubes attached to various parts of his body to release large amounts of blood quickly. He can also reabsorb his blood back through his gloves.
Oh, okay.
That would be an awesome quirk because one, well,
I'm
you
sorry.
have to damage yourself, but then you can use it to.
All I'm thinking
beat
right now
somebody
is
up.
Alucard from Helsing.
You know what would be great about that quirk
I was
though?
just thinking the same thing.
You can beat someone to a bloody pulp and then bring all your blood back and never know you were there.
You never knew.
Only his blood.
True. But yeah,
It's
you
like
can erase
you-
all your blood from him.
Say I punch you with my blood, and my blood is in your body now, and it circulates. Do I control the blood that I have in your body now?
Now we're getting interesting.
Now that would be more of
But
a
what-
villainous type thing, though.
His
It is
blood-
true, but as a hero, also I'm fighting the villain.
But you gotta stop
Same
thinking.
thing.
Oh, by the way,
What's his blood
if you're
type?
queasy, you shouldn't listen to this part.
Yeah. So depending on his
Don't
blood
watch
type,
Chainsaw Man.
he may not be able to.
I want to watch it. You don't. I do.
You don't like blood and gore.
But I
you
do.
don't like blood and gore. And that's
So,
a
I watched
blood and gore.
Cyberpunk.
Chainsaw Man on another level.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're getting off on a tangent, but
Right.
with that is we don't know his blood type, and you gotta remember,
I can look it up.
even if in My Hero, blood types would probably still determine a lot of things.
What you can do with blood. I mean, cause yeah,
So,
at
but
that
it's-
point, you
it's
just
funny,
go,
right?
Huh? Not
Blood,
me, but
blood clean, just blood comes out, right? But it's still attached to him already. It's not like it's detached ever.
When he
If it-
hardens it,
Well, when he hardens it, it's still connected to him somewhere.
no, I think he can remove.
the way he shot it before, right?
I don't remember then. Let's see. What is his blood type? Does it say?
But yeah,
His blood
of
type is
Floppy.
B. He is B blood.
so yeah, then he can
B for blood.
even if he could, inject his blood into your system, your body would reject it.
Unless you were B blood.
Yeah, and that's
So even if you do it and your body reject it, you're gonna die anyway, right? Because
Not
your
really.
body reject your white blood cells would.
all it does is it may cause you to be, I think,
Sick.
violently ill.
Okay.
It could cause you to vomit or something like that. I don't know, and we're not going to look into
Go
that
into it,
right now.
yeah.
I mean, maybe if you guys ask us, we might do some more research into that to see what would happen if you would do something like that. But as of right now, we're just gonna pop out into
The next villain I'm thinking
Oh,
is
speaking
Dobby.
of pop out, let's go with pop off.
No.
All right,
So
never mind.
we are going to go with. I actually like Twice's.
Okay, yeah, that's
Oh,
what
I
I meant
love
to say.
Twice. He's done such a. Did you see the newest episode?
It is said that
Oh my
he
God.
would have been a
Okay, guys.
All right,
the villain for
all right,
one.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Twice.
So Twice's ability is to be able to create clones of himself.
Duplicate anything he touches.
Well, he mainly used it for clones.
Yes.
To clone himself to get
But he
stuff done.
can he clone other people?
Yes,
Yes,
he can clone
okay.
other people, other quirks.
But
No.
they're not as strong.
But they're not
Yeah,
as strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Could he have clone Midoriya? Or since he had too many quirks, he couldn't. Ain't that the rate?
Technically, he can clone money too, but
'Cause
if you
Toga
rip the
couldn't
money,
use his
it
power.
turns away.
yeah.
She said it was too many. Well, we gonna go talk about Midoriya. He's just
Yeah.
like a Easter egg.
But the thing is, the main reason he is a villain is because he had created clones.
He went crazy.
Well, that's why I'm getting to Tommy.
You know who the real one was?
To help him around the house, but he created so many, and they started.
Wanted to be the one.
They revolted.
want to
They no, they it got
wanted
to the
to
point
be
of they.
twice.
Everybody thought they were the original, to the point of they tied the
They-
original up and started killing everybody, each of them in front of him.
It's like that one episode of Naruto where he's on the ship and he gets like, I don't know, seasickness, and his clones start to revolt against him.
You don't know which one it is, and
And
at the end, you become
Yeah.
mentally ill because you don't know if you're the real one anymore.
yeah,
Mental health.
yeah, it
brain,
basically
so-
snapped his brain to cause him to have split personalities, because
And
that's
he's
why he's called
only
twice.
himself.
That's why
when
he
put
wear
a
the suit,
mask
right?
on. Yep.
Yeah, so he could not control himself unless he was all wrapped up in one.
But I know in the newest, not the newest season, but season 5, that
Toga helped him get.
there's a
through it.
breakthrough where he realizes he is the one, and he knows how to keep track of who's the one now.
And that's why the Hero Association feared him so much. Now that you got that power, imagine going against 1,000,000 moderates. Or like whoever he want to be, you know, it just keep producing and keep producing and keep producing. It's like shadow clones. It's like reanimation, but they just keep coming. I like the whole war.
Tommy,
with the
are
white
you
vessel.
looking up Overhaul?
Yes, that is an expert. We can go over.
That would have been such a wonderful hero quirk.
It would have been.
Yes.
So overhaul gives the user gives the user the ability to disassemble and then reassemble matter with their bare hands. Sorry, my screen keeps popping all over the place.
And one thing they have said is that they're able to heal, fix any damage done when they actually reassemble.
Which
That'd be
is seen when he would redo
Airy.
Harry,
Eri after they would use her powers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right.
but he had like a germaphobe.
Yeah, he was a germaphobe, and he viewed an old theory that quirks had come in from a virus from mice.
Yeah.
And he viewed everybody with a quirk as unclean. So he had created a process using the quirk of Airy to basically rewind everybody back to their previous state before quirk is
Ares is a little girl in the anime, and her quirk is
She's a
rewind.
little unicorn. She is a little unicorn. You cannot tell me otherwise.
Well, so her
That's
quirk
clear.
is rewind, and she scored the little horn, one horn onto like the side of her head, and it gets bigger the more her power grows, and until she uses it, and so she can literally
find-
erase your quirk.
But
No.
we find out during the new, I don't know if y'all read the manga, but we find out that it's not, like you said, quirks change. It's no longer just rewind. If she can get to control it, she can progress or rewind.
So it
in
evolves.
time.
Their
Yeah,
quirk basically
it
evolves.
Say
But
that again, Gerard. I don't think we got that.
So, like I said, quirks evolve. So not only when she controls it, not only that she can rewind, but she can also
Well,
progress.
right now,
Ooh.
she can only rewind stuff, and that's why they call it.
Fast
It's because
forward,
of
rewind.
how it had
Yeah, in the anime.
presented itself.
Not in the-
It's
yeah, in the
basically
anime.
when it presented itself, like most people, it's in an uncontrolled situation. And what had happened is she rewound her father out of existence.
It was instant, just like she would. Like even when she was fighting and they was fighting Overhaul
Yep.
with Midoriya, all his damage and everything would get automatically rewind, so he was able to use one for all at 100% continuously.
Yeah, and with the overhaul quirk, the person has the ability to tear apart, and with that, he has the option of either leaving it destroyed, restoring it, or shaping it into something new. This is also able to use on living and non-living objects.
As we seen with his subordinates that he used to become stronger at the end, which was
Basically,
crazy.
think of bionicles with just
Meat.
combining.
and blocks and breaks and
So, in my opinion, I think Overhaul would have been the quirk in general would have been fantastic as a hero
As a
quirk.
hero.
It would have been because he could have like.
Especially a doctor.
Oh,
For sure.
yes.
It reminds
You
you
know
of
what
Law.
he'd be? He would be
The law
Recovery
of my
girls.
hero.
recovery girl,
Successor.
or he'd be like Law from
Yeah,
One
like
Piece.
Law. Yeah, he'd be like Law.
I think he would have been more like Recovery Girl's successor.
Take the arm off.
Only reason I say he's more towards Law is because the way Law does stuff. Like, even when he fixed Luffy, he broke him down, then put him back together. Like, that's essentially what they do. So that's the only reason that's a very good comparison.
What we got? What do you think?
Dobby, which is also an Easter egg, which for the non-main guy readers, or even just with the show,
I know
the
it.
theories and the
It's
inferences,
been proven. Dog.
he's definitely Endeavor's. That's the lost
It's
son.
gotta be a Todoroki.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
Toya.
lost son.
So
That's
basically,
Toya.
his quirk is known as cremation, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Is it cremation or blue flame?
It's
Okay.
cremation, I think.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay.
And basically, what it does is it burns so hot it destroys himself.
No, it's blue flame.
It's Blue Flame.
Okay, it first came out
Yeah,
as
they
cremation.
figured-
Because
So,
Endeavor says
Like his father's quirk, like his father's quirk, Hell Flame, Blue Flame grants Dobby fire-based abilities, particularly creating and generating fire from his body at will. However, unlike Hell Flame,
Blue Flame.
Dobby's colors are blue, in meaning that they burn much hotter,
Right.
And,
which they can cremate.
and that's where the cremation came from. That's where he first introduced us. And the main thing about Dobby, though, is his body's actually not meant to handle a flame quirk.
Which
Yes.
is why you see his appearance, and also why they're gonna show us what happened in the past.
So-
I already know.
I've read it, but I want them to see it.
Yeah, I
So
see
that's
it
what I
in
was saying.
animation, yes.
Yeah, we,
So his flames
we
are.
read most of it, but
Well,
animation-wise,
oh, yeah.
episode to episode,
Oh, it's always so much.
yeah, it's
His
all-
flames are so hot they burn at a temperature of up to 2,000 degrees Celsius or 3,632 degrees Fahrenheit. And as a blacksmith myself, that is a hot
That's
flame.
hot. Fuck.
So,
Excuse my language.
yeah, we're going to have to probably edit that out.
Yeah.
I didn't begin YouTube.
Anyway,
PG, not for kids.
anyways,
Let's go to Twitch.
but the reason that his body is not meant to
Yeah.
handle that quirk is because his father, Todoroki,
That's it.
yeah, no, I know.
And yeah, his dad, he said it even then. That's why he couldn't. That's why Endeavor
No,
couldn't use Blue Flame,
basically,
right?
no. What the thing is Endeavor. I'm not too sure if they fixed it or if it's still a thing. Is he essentially bought his wife?
Right to offset the heat. That's why
Read the weakness.
Todoroki is
That's what-
fire and
that's what
ice.
is part of this.
Yeah, no, I already knew.
Yeah,
the
that's why
weakness.
that's why Todoroki is fire and ice, because that way he can control the Blue Flames without deteriorating his body like.
Well, no, the thing is,
Even Dobby said it
So
when they were.
so
he
So
watched
basically
the-
Dodo's is half and half.
yeah,
Half
the
fire,
name
half
is half. Yeah, but he's
but they
still
never
fire.
showed that he can go do blue flames. But what it is
Endeavor says
Endeavor-
though, you have the potential to go past me and Toya because you can use the Blue Flames without destroying your body.
yeah. But basically, what it was Endeavor was trying to create the perfect offspring, and I hate to use that word talking about children.
There you go.
Okay, it is.
He wanted the perfect kid.
Fire
He
and ice.
created the perfect child to upsert All Might, and he essentially bought his wife, who had an ice quirk. And I'm not too sure if there was feelings or what have you. I'm sorry, it triggered. But he had 4 children with her.
Nope. It was simply just off of him one.
Well, that
ice and fire on. Was she ice or was she what? She was ice.
she was ice because you have Toya, who had the quirk blue fire, but his body was more suited for an ice quirk.
Right.
Then it was Natsu, who can only basically control his own body temperature, so he's at the perfect temperature.
Which I would love that quirk.
Then you had what's her name? Fuyuma, the daughter. I can't remember.
The sister, yeah.
I can't remember her name.
Fumi?
Fumi.
Something like that.
Fume.
Who had the ability just to transfer water into its 3 stages.
Oh, see, I didn't know that she was able to do that.
Yeah, that's basically what her quirk was. So then you had Shoto, who he viewed as the
Yeah,
perfect one
the one
because
he
he
wanted.
had not only did he have the fire quirk, he had the ice quirk,
Ice.
which would offset each other.
Right.
So he actually had the body of fire and the body of ice as
He's a
well.
human radiator.
Which was
Well, truth be told, if he ever fully gets everything down to where he can control him,
Fully balanced.
where he's fully balanced,
Mhm.
he can create hurricanes. He can create tornadoes.
He can do that in his state right now, technically speaking. It ain't gonna be as powerful as it could be, but in his turn,
Well, not
as he uses
Just start a fire
certain
tornado
attacks
and
he
just
used
start
in the
put
show.
icicles out through the fire tornado.
I mean, even in the exams when him and Midoriya did that whole all that battle, that was basically like just
yeah.
a natural phenomenon.
No, basically what had
happened in the
happened,
middle of the rain.
what that was it went from such a
Acceleration of heat,
cold
Oh.
cold air front from all the glaciers he had created to
the
the
acceleration
Air
of heat.
heat.
Yeah. What he call that move? That's a move of his now. Flash fire or something like that.
and basically with All Might,
Fire.
or not All Might, but
But-
Deku using his All for One, it created a giant explosion from
Right.
the cold air front, warm air front mixing, then the pressure from their attacks
Like basically hitting a
colliding.
tornado with a brick wall.
No, it was just a giant explosion.
Pretty much. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have for the day.
Yep.
So we will come back next week with another episode.
Yep.
This is TNT signing off.
Signing off. See you guys later.
See you guys.
Goodbye.